So guys, from the last time, I open now ZBrush again and see our model. The head, it needs some improvement, and also this white thing here with this silhouette is covering the nose. So we just click on it and drag it inward so it's hidden. It's not exactly hidden, but it's not so much shown. And now we go to the nose with the move brush, big move brush, and just do this. Then maybe the tip of the nose should be a bit bigger, so I will increase it like this, and then like this. Yeah, from the side view I want to have this kind of a curve in here. By the way, what I like to do in ZBrush is to work not on a black background. I like to work on a kind of more light background. So let's do this. How to change the background in ZBrush. Another great tip from Nico. Okay, so document, here. So in document you have this kind of thing which is not a button even, or it doesn't look like a button, but it says black. It says back. It says back, which means background. But yeah, so we click on it and we start dragging. You see, and whatever our mouse pointer kind of points at, it picks this color. But we continue to drag until we have this kind of a grayish color, and we're happy. And now we're cool. So the color in ZBrush is kind of picked in this way, especially in here. You just click and continue dragging around your UI to find the color that you like. Yeah, I know it's a little bit annoying. It's a little bit strange even, but it's like this. So next thing we need to do is with the move brush, let's just move this a little bit, and with the inflate brush, let's put some meat in here. So be very careful not to have things like mine here. I mean, most of the things I have are fine, but in some places I have this kind of bumps, and you will probably have them too. So there are two ways to smooth, by the way. It's pretty interesting, and this is a tip for, not for beginners, but it's more for advanced users, but I will tell you. So first smooth is with shift dragging. Shift and holding shift and drag. Second smooth is shift, start dragging, and release shift and continue dragging. And this smooth, by the way, is in most cases better. So shift, start dragging, release shift, and continue dragging until everything is smooth. So this smooth is better than the normal smooth, but the normal smooth is more kind of convenient to use, more easy to use. So yeah, you will decide which one to use. Let's see now those teeth. Let's move them a bit. Maybe move the teeth like inward, like this. It will be more interesting, I think. Make sure you have symmetry, by the way, because without symmetry it will be a little bit strange. Then those teeth I will push also inward, and I will make sure they kind of meet. Although, yeah, in the side here they should meet. They shouldn't be inside each other, but in the middle, you see, the top teeth are in front of the lower teeth. So yeah, and this nose could be a bit thicker. Yeah, just trying to find our form, although we kind of found it. I will do this here and make sure this transition is a little bit better. How do I do it? With the down standard brush, when I want to make a transition which is sharp, especially in a stylized model, I go with Alt and dig with the down standard brush a bit. Then I go with my pinch brush and I kind of with Alt, I pinch it all around the edge, and then I smooth. And you see, the result is pretty nice. Next, if I have this kind of indentation here, I go with a big inflate brush and I just inflate it a bit and it's done. And it's looking kind of good, although probably I would want the ears to be a bit bigger. But you see, now we have a lot of polygons, and if we try to do something, most of the time we will make bumps into the geometry. It will not be very pretty. So we will at some point zero mesh the head. So most of you probably don't know what zero mesh is. I will show you. Zero mesh will by this method we will make our low polygonal version of the head. With it will have subdivisions, and when we want to move, for example, something like the ear, make it bigger or smaller, instead of just making it with a big move brush, for example, and try like this and try to not make the surface wavy, we just go down subdivisions. We'll have very few polygons, and then we'll move it without kind of making anything wavy, because when there are less polygons, everything is more smooth when we go up to subdivision. But yeah, I will show you instead of telling you, because telling you probably doesn't kinda hit you very good, if you may say. So here I will smooth again everything. I will come with my down standard brush here, come here with the down standard brush again to make this, and maybe this should be a bit more pronounced, and this also. So with the standard brush, just the standard brush, I'm just trying to pronounce it. Don't push too much here with the standard brush, because you see what will happen. We have to be very, very subtle, especially in those areas which are that thin. And if we, for example, want to have more thickness, of course we go with our inflate brush, which is 6. Inflate. And you notice how I work only with the brushes that are here, with the exception of... Is there an exception? There will be exception, but just one probably. So most of the brushes, most of the time, I use those brushes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and those. Okay. So now, what I like to do is to start doing the eyes. So the eyes, let's zoom in. So press Z, then zoom, and then just drag this, and you will see there is a mask. There are those kind of half spheres for the eyes, and inside there are the eyes. Let's think how to do this exactly. Alright, I will show you. So the thing that we will do is he's gonna mark you for life. This will be a mark that will hold you for the rest of your life. That's a promise, but yeah. Okay, no. So we will make a mask in here, which will be 2 half spheres like this connected. This will be basically the mask on his face. And with control we just draw the mask like this, and yeah. So now we go to extract in the subtool, extract, like we did with the hair. And this is, by the way, how we will do everything, which includes clothes, gloves, and everything basically, which is clothing or armor. But here we will not have too much armor, we'll have only gloves, maybe those boots, and yeah, that's it for this character. But yeah, the principle is the same. Yeah, basics are the same. So we extract, then we accept, then what we do, we go to polyframe to see the polygons, and we go to solo and we can see. So here we have polygroups. So I haven't told you about the polygroups in ZBrush. The polygroups in ZBrush are a very useful tool. So we can be able to kind of grab, for example, only this, or grab only this, and hide the rest. To show and hide things, to select them more easily, polygroups are amazing. So everything is different polygroup. So the border is different polygroup, the front part and the back part is a different polygroup. How to select a polygroup? A certain polygroup you can select by Control-Shift clicking on the polygroup itself. So we have selected this, and the others are hidden. So Control-Shift dragging will just show the hidden, and then show the hidden, show the hidden, show the hidden. Okay. Control-Shift clicking will show everything. So Control-Shift click on the polygroup, and now we want to delete the hidden. And that's how you delete things from the certain subtool. Because subtools are easily deleted by clicking delete here, but inside the subtool, if you want to delete something, you delete it by hiding it and then pressing del hidden. And del hidden is a button which is very hidden. It's del hidden and it's pretty hidden. So what we will do is, before we find the del hidden button, we'll go to enable customize. Then we'll go to geometry tab, but enable customize because we will grab it from where it's hidden and put it around here in our UI. So we go to modify topology, and in this modified topology we need 3 buttons to take from here and put here. First one is mirror and weld, del hidden, and close holes. Close holes is, yeah, it's a good to have, but del hidden is must, because all the time we're doing this, what we're doing here, we'll have to use it. So del hidden, I will just put it here. So Control Alt, dragging, and put it here. Enable customize should be on here, above the head of our character. So mirror and weld also is very important, so put it around this area. And weld points also could be, but I'm using it rarely, so we can leave it here. Close holes also. So let's close modify topology, and we have del hidden here. We will disable customize, store config. Okay, so we will kinda, in the course of this course, we will take some things that we need, put them in our UI to have them, because they will be useful, I promise. What we'll do now? Important. So now this is pretty much high poly. We need it to be lower. So how to make it lower than this? We go to our Z remesher. Z remesher, like Dynamesh, is in the geometry tab. So geometry tab, in the tools menu, in the tool menu, geometry tab, and then we go to Z remesher. And Z remesher has a lot of options here. But in our case here and now, we will use only Z remesher button and also the target polygon count. So if the target polygon count is 5, this means the Z remesher will try to make this 5,000 polygons, but only half of it. So the whole thing will be 10,000 polygons, which is a lot. Did we press del hidden, by the way? Now we pressed it. Okay. If we press it again, you'll see this function requires mesh to be partially hidden. So del hidden will hide, will delete the hidden parts which we don't need. So we need only these plain polygons here. Z remesher, I kinda always do it on the lowest target polygon count, which is 0.1, and Z remesh. Now it depends on your poly count here, but ZBrush will take a little bit of time and then make this. And this is very good, because this is the low poly version of our thing. So now with the move brush, I can adjust it, and it's looking pretty good. I like how this works, how we have a border polygons in here. You may have a different kind of, and probably you will have a different topology, but mainly we are aiming at something like this. If you have problems with your topology, it's not that smooth or something, you press Z remesher again, press it again until you have it better. But you see how when you press it from here, you press it, you see how it cuts here, then I press it again and it cuts here. Yeah, when we have this kind of sharp things, sometimes this happens, but sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, it's a little bit strange thing, this zero mesher. I'm trying to make this smooth, so I go around it. You know how to navigate ZBrush already, I hope, because it's very important to rotate, to pan with, to move, and to zoom in and out with Alt, click, release Alt. And you can zoom, of course, from here, from this button, zoom 3D, move from this button, just click the button and move, click the button and zoom, and click this button and rotate, but it's, yeah, I've seen people doing it, which is, and people who are working with ZBrush a lot, and I'm amazed. I cannot do this. I mean, I love to use the easiest and the most convenient things. So, now, I'm smoothing just a little bit, just to have this all kind of good looking, and if I have something like this, for example, I would go with my inflate brush, just drag, inflate, and when it's inflated already, I will smooth it with Shift. And then we'll have everything kind of smooth, which is nice. Now, if I want to zero mesh it again, there's a trick that we might do. It's a little bit complicated, but we have to go to crease, and let me see, crease all, no, not to crease, to edge loop, and panel loops maybe, no, panel loops is not good, edge loop, this function required to mesh to be partially hidden, okay, groups loops. Yeah, when we press group loops, and the loops should be lower, I mean, yeah, Control Z, maybe 2 loops will be completely fine. And then we can go again to zero mesher and zero mesh it, and it shouldn't make it sharp in here, yes. So it's, yeah, it's up to you. But I wouldn't mess with that for now. If, for example, you zero mesh it, and something like this happens, and you zero mesh it again, and something like this happens, it cuts through here, we can do this. Since we have mirror and weld here, and you see those X, Y, and Z, very little kind of tiny letters here, now its X is active, so it will mirror and weld by X. What mirror and weld does is it takes this part, the left part of our model, and copies it to the right. And the right disappears. So we can do this. It's very clever. We can do this. Disable symmetry, go to our move brush, move this a bit off center to the right, and then mirror and weld, and then symmetry again. And you see how it welded it. It's pretty easy. Also, if we want to weld this, is in the middle, we go to the move brush, disable symmetry, move it off the center, and then mirror and weld. You see? Pretty nice, pretty nice. And then, of course, put our symmetry back on. So, let's see the whole model and see what happens. So, this I think is a little bit bigger, so I will kind of make it smaller. My pivot is way away from my mesh, so I will go with Alt and click on this position icon. And you see here down, the orange letter said go to unmasked mesh center. With Alt, I press it, and it goes to the center of our mesh. Of course, if it has symmetry, it will go to one of the symmetry centers, but if we don't have symmetry, it will go exactly to the center of our unmasked portion of the mesh. And this is whole unmasked, so it's okay. Now, we can make it smaller, so we just drag it, make it smaller, and put it forward, a little bit down, maybe rotate it forward, a little bit forward, and of course you can always go with a big move brush and just move this forward. By the way, from here, if I want to move it towards us, towards the camera, I press Alt and drag with my move brush, and it moves the polygons to their normal, which is pretty useful in these situations. For example, now, if I just move it, I will move it to the sides, but if I Alt move it, you see, it's nice, but I don't have symmetry, so I'll press symmetry, X, and then I'll move it a bit, yes. Nice, okay. So, what I like to do here, I will inflate the center portion like this to make those kind of eye things, and then smooth it, and then inflate it, and smooth it, and something like this should work. Of course, with a down standard brush, I can go and make it look better. And I'm just improvising here. I'm not sure that this will work, but probably it should. So from the top view, I can move it more inward, because you see how those eyes are almost completely touched together. So we might want to do this. But you see, the experienced 3D artist will look at the concept, will do the concept as it is, but if something in some kind of a by accident looks better than the concept, the 3D artist will probably leave it to be better than the concept. In this case, I'm not sure we can do better than the concept, but yeah, we can try. So you see how this mask is coming from here, but then it's it's a little bit off center if we kind of see it, because in this area here we have a lot of space. In this area here we don't have that much space, because it's the 2D is not exactly as the 3D. We have to make a compromise most of the time. So this is our mask. Let's make it black, but never make anything completely black in ZBrush, because it will lose its shading. It will be completely black. It will be like a black hole. It's not good. So make it kind of dark, very dark gray, like this. And then I will fill it with this color. So now you will say, okay, but this mask doesn't have thickness. So how to make the thickness of it? And I will say, okay, my young Padawans, wait, I will show you this trick. And this is part of this workflow, what I told you about the clothes and everything. This is how we do it. So we kind of change our color. We don't need this black anymore, because this is kind of black. So now we need the thickness. Yes. How to do it? If we are sure about the form and everything, because after we do the thickness, it's not good to make big changes, because sometimes the thickness in some points will be less thick, and then you will mess it up. So we are okay with this. We work on it until we are okay. We say, okay, the form is nice, the positioning is fine, we are kind of fine with it. So now let's make the thickness. How? We go to Zmodeler brush, and now we have to learn about Zmodeler brush. We have 10 minutes until the end of the video, so for 10 minutes I will show you and I will tell you about the Zmodeler brush. So the Zmodeler brush is a different brush. It's not a sculpting brush. It's a brush which allows us to make a hard surface details in ZBrush, low poly, to modify the low polys, and to make everything, extrusions, cutting, everything, just amazing. I'm doing everything in ZBrush now. Before, yes, let's just see this to be easy, for easier access. Some of you are Bulgarian, and you probably are laughing at my accent and everything, but I'm okay with that, because the main thing is for you to learn. So now Zmodeler brush, we select it, and now you see we can kind of select poly. We can, now it's on delete, but by default it's, I think, QMesh. So QMesh a poly, we can go to a point and we can stitch, but by default I think it's on move, I'm not sure. And we can kind of go to an edge, and by default it's on insert. So we can modify edges, and we have a menu with spacebar. With spacebar we get this menu for that edge. This is edge actions. For the poly, if we are hovering over the poly, we get with the spacebar this big one, which is pretty scary. And if I were you, I would close now the video and go to cry on my bed, but don't do this. Then we go to the vertex, and we have point action, which is vertex or point. So now we have this kind of 3 things we can do here. There are a lot of things, but 3 things we can modify. For this case, we want to extrude our polygons, all of them. So what we can do is, what we have to do is go to our poly, press space, hold space to have this menu, and now these are the actions we can do. And we found extrude, extrude. And by the way, from all these actions for the polygons, we do extrude, we do polygroup, and we do delete sometimes. Most of the other things like slice, mesh, spherize, spin, spin edges, split, transpose, we don't use them. So don't worry, there are a lot of things, but we use just few of them. Extrude is one of the most used things. Then the target in the bottom kind of tab is the target. So extrude is what we will do, the action. The target, what we will do to what? We'll do it to a single poly, for example, and we'll do this. Just dragging, and it will extrude a single poly. But we want to extrude all the polygons. So we go again to our menu with spacebar, and then we press all polygons. And then the magic happens. Ooh. And we extrude inward. I extrude inward. In this case, I'm not sure it's the best idea to extrude inward, but I always extrude inward. And now when I extrude inward, since I always do it, my polygons always get flipped. Now the polygons are flipped. You see, we are seeing the back polygons because the polygons are kind of flipped. We have to flip them every time. Yeah, I know. It's kind of annoying. But we have to go to our tool menu, of course. Everything is in tool menu. And we go to display properties. And then we have double. You see? Double. Since the polygons are flipped, but double will allow us to see all the sides of the polygons. So now we see them as not flipped, but they are still flipped. So we disable double. Sometimes this will lie to us. And we enable flip. We don't enable it, we just press it because you can flip them, and flip them, and they are all flip. But this is the right way. They have to look like this with the thickness and everything. So these are our polygons. This is our mask. Here it doesn't look that good, but we'll fix it. But flip and double, we have to kind of put them around here. It's yeah. So enable customize, get the double, put it here, get flip and put it here, and enable customize and store config. Now let's see our mask, how it looks. I press D, and yeah, be careful not to press. By the way, again, if you do something like this, oh, my model is staying and the other was moving and something like this, if it happens, you just pressed Shift S by accident. It's pretty kind of frequent on beginners to do that. Even I do it sometimes, but I know how to fix it. Just Control N will clear your screen. And I said that already, but I know many people will not hear it the first time. Hopefully you will hear it this time. And yeah, those are the things. Of course, if your model is lost like this, you can press frame or just press F on the keyboard 2 times. First time will be the active subtool on the screen, and the second time everything will be on the screen. So our model is looking kind of nice. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's kind of good. But this is polygonal. We need it to be more smooth, this thing. I will move it a bit so it has thickness. I think it's better with the thickness. And now I need it to be smooth. How to make it smooth? So we will introduce here some other things, but probably in the next video. Yeah, I'm pretty slow these days. Let me move the teeth a little bit here. Yeah, but it's kind of slow. Yeah, we have to speed up the pace a bit. But I have to explain you the basics, and after that we will probably speed it up a bit. But for now, ZRemesher and Zmodeler brush are pretty basic things that you have to know. So I have to be kind of precise. I have to explain them slowly, and I will explain them again. Don't worry if you haven't had the chance to kind of practice them or do it. I'll explain them once again, no problem. So this is okay for now. I will see you in the next video where we will kind of smooth the mask and continue with the eyes a little bit and maybe start the body, but don't bet on it. We'll see.